Formula One has visited some gorgeous racing courses, such as Spa and Suzuka, as well as some terribly constructed layouts. Since the inaugural Formula One World Championship event in 1950, the British Grand Prix, 69 circuits have hosted or will hold a World Championship race. Of all these tracks, we have seen a lot of weird tracks over the course of Formula One history. So in today's video, we are going to go through the most absurd tracks ever seen in F1's history. Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. 1. Avus. Avus is without a doubt one of the strangest courses in F1 history. The 8.3km circuit consisted of two long straights with a hairpin at each end and resembled a dual road rather than a racing track. The initial layout was a whopping 19 km long, but it was cut many times until being reduced to 8.3 km for the 1959 Grand Prix. From the 1930s until 1967, it had exceptionally high banking on the North Bend, and it is widely regarded as one of the world's most hazardous courses. The circuit has held a variety of events throughout the years, from motor racing to athletics at the 1936 Summer Olympics. The circuit hosted F1's first and only official Grand Prix on August 2, 1959, which was won by Tony Brooks. The top three were all from the same squad, which is exceptional by current standards. Tony Brooks, Dan Gurney, and Phil Hill all drove Ferrari Dino 246s for Scuderia Ferrari. The 1959 German Grand Prix was the fastest on record at the time, with an average speed of 143.3 miles per hour. F1 no longer raced on banking tracks after 1961 because they were regarded as too risky. Avus is now an abandoned and forgotten racetrack from the past. It hosted a large send-off race in 1999, but the tower and offices are currently utilised as a hotel. 2. Nordschleife. Except for the 1959 season when Avus hosted the German Grand Prix, the Nordschleife became the primary home of the German Grand Prix. The track was utilised between 1927 and 1982, measured 22.835 kilometres and featured 160 turns. With F1 vehicles always being upgraded to make them faster, the circuit became increasingly unsafe to compete on. A chicane was installed before the start/finish straight in 1967, and the event was boycotted 3 years later in 1970 because it was deemed too unsafe. Following a deadly incident at Zandvoort that year, drivers demanded alterations to the Nordschleife, but they were not feasible in the time limit, so the race was relocated to the safer Hockenheimring, which had been upgraded. Armco barriers were placed on the track in response to driver requests, while the track surface was smoothed down and irregularities were eliminated. After these adjustments, and despite hosting an additional Grand Prix at the renowned location, it was concluded that racing at the stadium was simply too expensive and risky. The number of marshals required to properly manage the event, for example, was more than 5 times that of a regular racing track. Most notably, the defending champion at the time, Niki Lauda, attempted to persuade his colleagues to boycott the race in 1976. He didn't like the concept of racing across such vast circuits in such unpredictable weather. His pleas were disregarded and the race proceeded. Lauda was engaged in a life-changing collision during that race and was severely burned. He was rescued from the debris by racing drivers who stopped on the track, but the complete Nordschleife circuit was never utilised again in F1. 3. Valencia, Spain. Circuit Ricardo Tormo, popularly known as Circuit de Valencia, is located in Valencia and is one of the world's top racing facilities. Almost every type of motorsport is held on the track, from motorbikes to open-wheel racing. The Formula One event organisers, on the other hand, had other plans. The European Grand Prix has been an honourable event over the years, with Formula One initially introducing the event in 1923, Monza hosting the 1923 European Grand Prix, and Silverstone holding the 1977 edition before a 16-year sabbatical. Since 1993, venues like Nürburgring, Brands Hatch, Donington Park, and Circuito de Jerez have all had the honour of hosting the renowned European Grand Prix as part of the European Grand Prix circus, with Nürburgring staging its final event in 2007. From then, the anchor was dropped in Valencia for the European Grand Prix from 2008 through 2012. If not for the introduction of DRS in 2010, the Valencia street circuit, built by German architect Hermann Tilke, would have been a complete disaster of a racecourse. The track skirted the city's harbour and America's Cup port area, including a part across a 140-metre-long swing bridge. The track lacked altitude variety, and its tight and twisting character made overtaking difficult. The European Grand Prix was won by Ferrari's Felipe Massa from pole position in 2008, with just 5 overtakes in the entire race. The 2009 European Grand Prix was stranger for all the wrong reasons, as the two Brawn GPs disappeared into the distance while the race yielded 0 overtakes, a Formula One record. The introduction of DRS in 2011 improved racing standards slightly, resulting in 27 passes, a significant improvement over the 2009 and 2010 horror shows. Despite the fact that the 2012 edition provided a fantastic race, it was announced in March 2012 that the European GP will be cancelled in 2013, with the Spanish GP scheduled to alternate between Barcelona and Valencia. The event, however, has been held in Barcelona since 2013, and the Valencia street circuit was withdrawn from the schedule and ultimately abandoned. 4. Las Vegas. A wealthy sport like Formula 1 and Las Vegas should go hand in hand, right? Wrong. Sin City was not as glamorous as you might expect, with a pretty dull track built in the midst of a parking lot. Because it is located in the middle of the Nevada desert, there was little to no elevation difference, and it was widely called to as the worst circuit F1 has ever been to. The track design was poor, and the anti-clockwise rotation caused enormous pressure on the drivers' necks. The track was 3.65 kilometers long and only staged 2 races. Being in the desert, the heat was unbearable and risky for driving. Nelson Piquet took approximately 15 minutes to recuperate from serious heat fatigue after the 1981 Caesars Palace Grand Prix and almost didn't make it to the finish line despite being elected world champion at the same event. The track was broad in spots and of course a temporary circuit because it was staged in the famed Caesars Palace hotel parking lot. Although the hotel anticipated that hosting the 2 races in 1981 and 82 would be financially lucrative, it had the opposite effect, and they suffered significant losses by holding the event in their parking lot. F1 never returned after 1982, although there is always speculation of another Las Vegas Grand Prix. 5. Dallas, Texas. The US state of Texas wanted to show the world that Dallas was a world-class metropolis. Therefore, Texan officials considered bringing the Formula 1 circus to the state. The 1984 Dallas Grand Prix was the first and only Formula 1 race, and there are many reasons why there was only one. For starters, the weather proved exceedingly difficult and intimidating for the drivers. Second, the track layout was abysmal, providing minimal viewing opportunity to fans unless they bought an apartment in one of the large towers around the circuit. Finally, track disintegration was a major issue in the days leading up to the race on Sunday. The track began to melt and the pavement broke up in various places on the circuit during the 1984 Dallas Grand Prix, which was held in the blazing heat of Texas, 38 degrees Celsius air temperature. However, the circuit resurfaced 30 minutes before the planned race started, which is unusual, and drivers sometimes boycott such situations. Regardless, the event took place and was remembered fondly by many. Keke Rosberg, the 1982 world champion, won his solitary Grand Prix of the 1984 season in Dallas, which was a dreary procession with either vehicles or drivers falling down. Nigel Mansell, the pole sitter and running second until his transmission broke as the vehicle crawled towards the checkered flag, stepped out of his car to push it across the dotted line. But the Englishman fainted from weariness before reaching the line. After a 28-year hiatus, Formula 1 returned to Texas with the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, which hosted the United States Grand Prix for the first time in 2012. Which of these tracks is the most absurd in your opinion? Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Keep an eye out for our next video. Bye for now.